getting married and solidifying your family structure and dynamic does not make you weak. It's called being a man. These things are important. But a lot of guys that come from what I come from don't really get a chance to hear it like that.
Leadership Academy. Niggas on that front line trying to create hope and change throughout the prison system.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the Pull-Up Podcast. Here's a couple quick updates. First off, I wanted to thank the Missouri Department of Corrections and Warden Crane for allowing us to film today's episode there, as well as the 2025 Prison Leadership Conference, which you'll be seeing on Pando here real soon. Today, we're pulling up on Cuz, who you met earlier as part of the GLA program and being a founder of that. Today, we're going to talk to him about his work in the reentry center and in reentry in general and why that is so important to him. We do want to come to your facility and see how you are leading. We need official communication to do that, meaning we need your facility to reach out to us, someone who can get us access, or you can give us the email address of someone who can give us access, like an administrator, a chaplain, or an activities coordinator. We cannot communicate with people outside of official channels for all the obvious reasons. So we look forward to pulling up on people in other states. We have plans to be in Virginia. We look forward to hopefully getting to Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, and Florida. I want to give a couple shout outs. We've been getting a ton of letters about how people are leading where they are right now. Damien at Michael Unit in Texas, what an awesome letter. And you had somebody else also who wrote a letter on your behalf about how great peer programs that you have going on there. We hope to make communication and see if we can come tell your story. I also wanted to give a shout out to Alicia in Lowell, Florida. Man, does everybody in prison need a row? She's really advocating for you, and it sounds like you are also have amazing stuff going on there. So we will try to get there, try to highlight the awesome stuff that you are doing, and in the meantime, enjoy episode 5.
So, Cuz, I want to know how you're leading where you are and how you're serving the population you surrounded yourself with every day.
I would say first it starts with me really leading by example. In order to grow and evolve, these leadership principles and practices that we talk about, I have to walk that daily. But when it comes to me as a husband, as a father, and as an example throughout this environment, there are certain ways that I got to step. And so in part of doing that, I have made sure that I have aligned myself with reentry, with education, just rehabilitation in general. So I have positioned myself on the front line, and that's how I lead where I am, on the front line, making sure guys understand that they have a representative who looks like them, who talks like them, and really about the business of growth and development.
So how do you do it on the front lines? Like, what's your day look like?
I kicks my day off with, I'm prayed up every day. And so that means a lot to me. That really centers my day. That gives me the focus that I need. That sets my agenda, and I do that through prayer. From there, about 6:45, I'm headed to work, which is in the reentry center. By the time I get up there, I probably have 3, 4, 5 guys already
asking for help
on their way.
Yeah.
They might be going up the steps right behind me. And so from the moment I sit down, they got questions and concerns about their well-being. They want to know, how can they apply for a birth certificate? How do they apply for a social security card? How do they go about the business of getting their non-driver's Missouri state ID? How do they apply for Medicaid? Social security disability? How do they sign up for classes? All of these things are on a daily basis. And then you have the nuances as well, where I had one gentleman who came up. He said, man, because I've been down 35 years, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And so I get those questions. I had one gentleman who just returned back to prison as well. And this was early in the morning. I'm not really situated, but because he was at the prior camp with me back at Bonterre, he wanted to make sure he came to talk to me. He know my walk prior to being in Algoa. And so he wanted to hurry up and come and talk to me. And unbeknownst to me, he was overwhelmed. And so when he sat down, he was like, man, before I know what you're going to say. I know I'm back and everything. But he like, man, I really need to talk to you. And so he was just overcome with emotion because he left his kids. And he really left his family in shambles coming back on a parole violation. And he broke down crying as he was trying to explain to me what his concerns were. So that's the weight of some of the things that I deal with on a regular basis in the reentry center.
So 25 years was your sentence?
Yes.
That's a lot of time. So I want to talk or hear you talk about why. Why did you always push? Why did you always aspire for more? Why did you always want to improve personally? What gave you the hope that all this work you're putting in over the 25-year sentence was gonna pay off?
You know, we hear a lot about hitting that rock bottom. I didn't have a hope at first. I was doing what many guys in prison or locked up for now. I was slanging, banging, didn't think that I would make it that far in life. And all that came crashing down with this 25 years. As I stated in one of the previous episodes, seeing the way that my family and friends and community was just broken, I had never saw it like that. And it was sort of what you see when you attend a funeral. But this was all happening with me receiving this time. And I had to face that. And in the midst of all of that, my baby girl, who I had never got a chance to hold, I asked my lawyer after I was found guilty, I'm like, man, see if the judge will let me hold my daughter for the first time. And he went to talk to the judge. The judge carved out about 15 minutes for me, and I was able to hold my daughter for the first time. She was known to cry with everybody except my wife. And so it was just crazy how in that moment, everybody was just watching to see how that moment played out. And when my wife put her in my arms, she never cried. To me, she felt safe. To me, she knew whose arms she was in. But again, look at everything that I was going through in that moment. And so to be able to hold her for the first time, and she did not cry, and all she did was look me in my eyes. In my mind, that let me know, like, okay.
It's not about you.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna fight no matter what to change this around, because I have to protect her. I have to take care of her.
Even if you're not gonna be there, there's
even
things
if I'm
you
not
can
gonna be
do
there,
that are still gonna set her up for success, and you up for success, and your family up for success.
I was determined. I was determined to really do whatever it took to really make sure that I was there for her and my family and friends who were just literally broken behind my actions.
So you know this, and you know that other people don't. Mm-hmm. And that's why is that why you do what you do every day?
Absolutely. And you know, it's dudes that know me. You know, it's a lot of guys who gonna see this and they know me as Lil Cuz from the north side of St. Louis, from a neighborhood called 3940. A lot of dudes know that guy, and they know me as always being a street leader. My family know me as this impactful leader who was a provider and a protector, but also in the streets. I'm still tied to my community. I tell some of my partners all the time, as you get older, and if you blessed enough to still be around, and lived to see this age that now I'm in my 40s, man, you got a responsibility and an obligation to go ahead and turn over this new leaf and set some things in place where everything that you done came from, that you dedicated your life to, that you tore down, that you impacted, that at the very least we can lead by example and show guys that college is cool. Building your faith is paramount. Getting married and solidifying your family structure and dynamic does not make you weak. It's called being a man. These things are important, but a lot of guys that come from what I come from don't really get a chance to hear it like that. I just want to be able to show guys growth and change is possible, whether you doing life in prison or whether you got 3 months to do in prison. So for those who are growing in their faith, curious about what faith means, learning about the power of prayer, when you incorporate God in your life, then you're going to understand that, okay, this also means that I have to give back. I have to help where I can. I have to serve where I can, because this life that you have, when you're blessed to still be around like me, why wouldn't you help others? I mean, it's just something that we're supposed to do.
So me and you have talked at length about hope, growth, and change as it serves leadership. I often tell people that growth is learning applied and change is what happens after growth. But hope, how does hope fit in that? Because I don't personally feel like I really understood hopelessness until prison. Mm-hmm. I may have passed it, but it was from 30,000 feet. I may have given the homeless guy some money for lunch or whatever it is. I saw hopelessness, but I didn't recognize it. So how does hope fit into growth and change?
I love the way that you laid that out, because I think what we have to do first in order to really understand hope and know that it's not just this little fly-by turn, I think we have to examine learned hopelessness and what that looks like. So learned hopelessness is how we influence one another to do negative things. And it has this visceral effect on you, mentally and psychologically, where you feel trapped, you feel you can't overcome the drug addiction. You start to feel that, no, you may not make it home. You're not going to be anything. You can't learn. All these negative connotations that you brand yourself with are the actions of learned hopelessness. So, okay, let's rebrand ourselves. So now when we talking about becoming our best selves, we don't want hopelessness. We want hope now. So what are going to be the actions of hope? Again, for me personally, prayer, my faith, my belief in God, and understanding what that means to my life. And with that also comes courage. My faith in God has called me to uphold my faith. And upholding my faith, sticking to my belief in God, means that I'm going to have courage. Even though life is going to throw some curveballs along the way, in prison and even after prison, I'm still got to do the right thing according to the plan and the purpose that has been blessed upon my life. And so as I walk this line that started with education, that I like to describe my educational freedom, with that, this education is finna allow me to be an asset to my kids. It's gonna afford me the opportunity to rebrand myself, to bring quality to my family, to my marriage. This is now me stepping out on courage to break this cycle. Courage is also doing the right thing when no one is looking. You stick to the things that you know to be right, even though people may disagree with you or appear not to even care. Another component of that hope is integrity. We have to have it because these are the components of hope, our faith, the courage that we need to be resilient and persevere, and this integrity that's going to be that foundation of your truth, of your honor.
True hope comes after some insight and understanding, but then also putting effort towards something. So you feel hopeful after you've put something into it, and maybe you hope that something is going to come back to you from that effort, or even from that connection, if it's relationship. But it's wishful thinking if you're sitting in your bunk and you haven't moved. It's wishful thinking that I want to reconnect with my family, but I'm sitting in my bunk and I won't even try to call them. Mm-hmm. Or I've tried to call them, they don't answer. I haven't wrote a letter. I haven't tried to connect with someone laterally who maybe is in communication with my family. I borrow trouble. I say that they don't want to talk to me, and I go to that hopeless place. And then out of that comes addiction and all the things that we find in prison. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to point out that hope doesn't come out of thin air.
No, you're absolutely right. At a certain point, the growth and the change have to come into play to really reinforce your hope. The courage and confidence you get by making those changes, growing and taking action is what forms your character, and thus your confidence, your integrity, who you are as a person begins to change. But now we're talking about actions and inspiration from that hope that yield real world results.
No question. And that's why I say it's something that you're going to have to activate. You got to get up out of that bunk. You got to start finding your path and being involved with your growth journey. It's not just going to fall in your lap. Guys got to get out of the mindset of thinking like, if I don't follow this wave of what everybody else is doing, somehow it's going to be a corny move. How is it a corny move when you got a family, you got kids, you got people that love you, who you responsible to and for? And if you still around breathing, you got a responsibility to fill yourself up with knowledge, skills, whatever those things is, so you can be able to pay it forward.
Yeah. So you often hear people talk about routines in prison. We all know people who, use morning prayer as part of the routine. Any person who claims to practice faith is going to reflect regularly.
Yes, sir.
Whether you call that prayer, whether you're talking to God, reflecting in your day, whether you're planning it, is it constructive? Does your time with God in the morning reflect in your effort? And does that equal hope? Or again, does your conversation with God in the morning revolve around wishful thinking and what you hope might happen, but you're not using that opportunity to grow, to change, to step out in courage, to make peace instead of keep peace? These are the things that we're called to do in our faith. But I think a lot of times we just stop at the cliche. We just stop at, I pray in the morning. I'm prayed up. That's it. Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
what I know of being on the front line, helping guys on a regular, what I have to course correct all the time is guys that have loads of ideas, but no clear destination on how they're going to get there. And I tell guys all the time, and this applies to our guys who have long sentences, and whether you have long sentences or short sentences, because you're going to be helping somebody else who may be closer than you. Even if you're not going home, you're going to have homies, you're going to have family members or partners or whatnot who are going home, who you hope will be able to support you. So you want to pour into them the right way. And so in doing so, you want to make sure that they are planning, because this is where the ball get dropped when it comes to men. Many of the women that we know who have a car, have a home, have a job, all three. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the man, he don't have none of that. So often he's living with her. Mm-hmm. How often do we hear he got his own crib? He got his own car. He got a job. He's self-sufficient. He's independent. He's providing for his family. He's paying bills. He's giving back to his community. He has a church home. Whatever these things that it take to make it, the drop-off is guys are not planning what that livelihood really looks like and what it entails. So if you saying that you want a career, then why are you walking around here knowing that there's colleges that exist and you just settling for the GED? Or you graduated from high school, came to prison, but now you on prison time. And there's colleges that exist. It's vocational trades that exist. That's gonna propel you, that's gonna level you up, that's gonna help you understand, okay, I could do something with this. This attached to what level of employment out there? Why are you not planning this out, exploring that path and what that looks like for you so you can be able to go be somebody to your family? Guys are not planning. And when they do, they wait until you 3 months from the door. You've been in prison over a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. You're gonna wait to your last 6 months.
Yeah.
After doing 20 years to try to prepare to go out there for the rest of your life?
I think a lot of times that's arrested development. Like I think people literally don't understand how development works. Like,
for sure.
They think that change happens transactionally.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get to that 6 months, I'm going to do this thing and I'll get this result. But what we know is that for 19 and a half years, you've been practicing what you're going to do when you get out.
Absolutely.
And now you're lazy. Now you may outwardly look lazy and actually be lazy because for 19 years you chose to not do anything. But it isn't that you feared work. It was just that you didn't have the hope. You didn't have the belief in yourself, whatever it was to make you get up and step out. How many of us know guys that if you honestly ask them, they would not believe for themselves? And I hear that all the time. Like, if you see anyone doing it, it's possible for you, but how many people actually believe that?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Bo here. This week's episode is brought to you by Our Daily Bread Ministries. Our Daily Bread Ministries helps people grow closer in their relationship with God, become more like Jesus, and respond to God's word through the conviction of the Holy Spirit. You can learn more about them and discover resources to help you experience the life-changing wisdom of the Bible every day at odbm.org if you have the internet. And if you are enjoying the Pull Up podcast, you can find more content like this by following the Our Daily Bread Ministries page right here on the Pando app and everywhere you get your podcasts. Now, back to the show.
I think it's important for our viewers to understand this. If you got kids, you are a leader. If you got a wife, you are a leader. If you belong to a family, you are a leader.
The choice is good or bad, not whether you get to be one or not.
Absolutely.
Right.
The choice is good or bad. You could be a bad leader or a good leader. But if you plan on surviving prison, whether you going home or not, you want to be around, you got family that you tied to, you got friends that you tied to, or you going to impact them negatively or you're going to impact them positively. The choice is yours, but you got to learn the pattern and practices of leadership. And that's why you need to be down with global leadership. You need to be in that environment. You need to be cultivating what those skills look like. And it's like I said before, I can't emphasize this enough. I know that there's brothers like my homeboy J-Lo he got life in prison. But at the same time, I'm on my way out the door. It's other homies you around who on their way out the door. You gonna want support. Q, I'm talking to you too. You're gonna want support. You can't be shucking and jiving around prison and blowing it off. No, you need to be breathing on other guys, helping build them up so they can go be something And then that way you have a community that continues to support you, who can help keep lifting you up, who can keep you inspired, who can keep you motivated. If you got life in prison, if this 25 or 15 years feel like forever, it's called Each One Teach One. This is about creating this leadership community for the before and the after.
About throwing the rope to the guy behind you.
Absolutely. Dudes is getting this twisted. But they complain like, oh, he got out, he didn't even look out for me. You was helping him perpetuate the madness. He wasn't ready. And you was part of it. What about the hope and the courage that we talking about that you supposed to be demonstrating that's gonna build him up? You didn't demonstrate that, but you was his influence. And so now he got out there and crashed.
Right.
And now you complaining about, oh man, he ain't even send me no money. He wasn't even answering the phone. He ain't even look out for me. What you expect was gonna happen? Like, come on, what we doing?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that they can have a neutral influence. I'll just stay out the way in prison. I promise you, if you think that's what you're doing, you're having a negative influence because you're not being that positive representation to the people around you. You're not representing that to your family. How many times have we seen in the group where we talk, where people like Butch and his son, they don't even know that their dynamic and their narrative is changing just based on the conversations they're having. So somebody like Butch, he calls his adult son, and all he's talking about is, hey, we talked about vision and proximity in group today. And well, what his son is hearing is a father figure who's talking about awareness of how I get proximate with you. Mm-hmm. That's what the grown son is hearing when he's only ever heard a victim narrative, a hopeless narrative for 2 decades from his dad. But now, because his dad has a vocabulary and a way to put it around it, all of a sudden there's hope in that relationship that wasn't there before.
No doubt about it. And for those who don't know Butch is I think Butch is 65. So for our older gentlemen throughout the prison population, you can make it happen at Global Leadership. Butch found his voice. He learned the tools and the principles of how to better express himself and articulate himself to his children. And even just being in a situation called leadership development, his children was like, wow. You can teach an old dog new tricks, so to speak. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my dad is still willing to learn and be better for us. He haven't got complacent. He didn't just throw the towel in and just settle and say, hey, I'm old. It really don't matter anymore.
But
he's still doing the work.
He's still doing the work.
Yeah, and
he's still doing the work.
You see the wick of hope.
Absolutely.
Right, you know?
The hope, the courage.
Yeah. Stepping
Butch
out.
walks with integrity.
Yeah.
These things matter.
And he was able to capitalize on an opportunity because he did the work. Now, he did the whatever opportunity that is for whoever we're talking to and reaching right now, you've got to do the work or else you're not going to be able to capitalize on the opportunity.
And he didn't miss the opportunity. I mean, a guy who's been in spent more than 2 decades in prison, the status quo is, man, come on, man, that's just going to be this. That's just going to be this. That's just going to be this. And then you see it come. You start to see the change. You see the me and yous walking through the place. I mean, imagine this. Yeah. We're sitting here, a 48-year-old construction background, spent 6 years in prison, a 35-year-old warden, and a 40-something-year-old street dude that won't tell me how old he is because he don't like to give no personal information. He don't like to give out dates, birthdays, kids' names, addresses, counties of residence, none of those things. So
yeah, I know how we do.
Yeah, I know how you do it. So, but I'm okay with that. I learned from that too. So anyway, look at where we are, and it is hope, courage, stepping out. Look at where we are.
I want to say something to that because I know, as Mr. Kempker pointed out, when it comes to doing the work, growth is a process. You're going to have to put in the work. And when it comes to guys like me that come from the streets, the influences of prison will have you trying to circumvent the process, go over the process, go around the process, go under the process, instead of going straight through the process, because that's what an education is. When you follow the process of whatever that plan is, whatever those steps are, whatever that class is that has required for you to create that change, that reentry center that you come up to, there are steps required. There's a process. Whatever that you learn, whatever that blueprint that was given to you, you have to follow the process, because it's going to make you so much better. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you so much hopeful. It's going to improve your courage. It's going to improve you educationally. It's going to improve your skills. You have to go through the process. This is where all the check marks at. Don't run off to the side. Don't try to get around, because you're going to miss critical things that are designated for you.
That's society at large. We're looking for efficiency, the shortcut. Everybody wants to
instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Everybody wants to be served right now, to be pleasured right now. Everybody wants to lose the weight right now. Everybody wants what they want right now. And you can't skate your personal responsibility in the outcome of the situation, or else, okay, you can go take a weight loss shot and lose 50 pounds. Mm-hmm. But unless you change your exercise and diet habits, you're not going to retain the weight loss. You're going to gain it back. Yeah. And that's the same thing with life. You go around the problem and try and get the prize at the end. It's going to melt. It's the journey is the victory.
Yeah.
The journey is where you learn to appreciate the prize at the end. You shouldn't be proud of a trophy for participating. You should be proud of a trophy you gained by doing the work.
The work that you put in to get the trophy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like this. If you so tough, why you not reading? If you so smart, why you always talking but not planning? If you feel like you got it all figured out, then why you not with the other smart guys who got their thing figured out, and that's what they do? They talking about stocks. They talking about real estate. They planning it. They on the phone. They got the content. They got the books. They learning. They studying. They doing all these different type of things. But you over here always blowing about it all, but never involved. And see, this is where we gotta start being smart in prison and understanding the way that we navigate this thing. See, it's no different than when you in the car and you driving through the streets. You got to be an offensive driver and a defensive driver. But it's about making it to that destination. And when we talking about these processes that you put in place, when you going to go get that help and you going to go get the tools that you need, you going to the reentry center, you going down to education, you going to ICVC, you going to anger management, all this combination of things that you feel like that you need to level you up and make you better. You go through that process and understand that these guys that's over here, the peanut gallery, the birds of the same feathers that want to flock together, you got to be very smart about the way that you step it, because what I dislike most is the guys who do all of the faking and pretending.
At the root of it all, what you're talking about is humility. You have to have the humility to say, hey, I don't have it all figured out.
Absolutely.
And we're short on that in society and in here. They just haven't humbled themselves enough to be able to learn and ask questions and say, you know what? I'm not perfect. If I was, I wouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
Right? How do I get better? I want to get better. That's the definition of humility that society needs.
Yeah.
Is the person that people mistake confidence as arrogance.
Yeah.
They get it all twisted up. But real humility is being able to say, I'm this far down the road, but I ain't there yet. And what do I need to know? Who do I need to talk to? What connections do I need to make? How do I need to improve myself to get to that destination?
Yeah.
And people aren't willing to level with themselves and tell themselves the hard truth.
Yeah.
Because they're not humble, or they can't come off of that tough guy macho act.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I need help.
I like to just say them the guys who just ain't ready yet. And who we speak it to is that guy who's curious, who's willing, who's trying. Yeah, you may have failed, you may have stumbled.
But that's humility. Yeah.
That's humility. But you trying to figure something out. And we saying, be careful about the influence in those guys over on the sideline with the BS. Know what it look like. Understand how it move and how it acts. Because you the one trying. You trying to figure out this new version of yourself. And we saying, look, these the tools, this the process, go this way, but know what that look like over there so you don't repeat this cycle and end right back over there with the rest of them.
I think laced deep in humility is an ability to self-reflect.
Absolutely.
Like, I think if you see the people who struggle for humility, right? Like, when you have successes, those people come out where no matter what, they're going to find a way to make this not a real thing. No matter what, they can't sit there and say, wow, that person has changed and grown and is doing better. They have to say, well, I heard him say this one time 6 years ago in the house, or I saw him do this thing. And so they pick apart to make the narrative fit what currently is in front of them. Yeah. Instead of...
It makes them feel comfortable. They pick it apart and turn it into what makes them
feel comfortable. And they don't have to see it in themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? They don't have to reflect and say, man, I just saw that dude work hard and do something. And I know I'm not doing that. That's the moment of self-reflection. Yes. I know I ain't doing what you're doing.
Because that puts the onus back on you, the responsibility and accountability back on you. Uh-huh. If you can pick it apart and say, that's why they got that. That's why they achieved that. That's why they did that.
And so look at how that comes full circle where, you know, we talk about humility so much and about it not being meekness and really about it being strength. And how is it strength? Well, ask yourself, do you self-reflect in a way that helps you to improve yourself down the road? Every day, I reflect on my inability to control anger in moments, my desire to take things down a rabbit hole to make them fit my comfort zone instead of having a conversation with a warden about something that is upsetting me or in my way to get to the next thing, right? It's like the reflection allows me to come off a line. It allows me to reach out to staff. It allows me to reach out to a black guy from the city who's younger than me, has none of the same characteristics I do, but instead of putting up a wall, do I have something to learn from that man, or do I just need him to understand me? Right? Because that's how I was. You know, it was more important to me that you understood me than I learned something from you. And now I'm a learner and I'm an open book. I don't say I'm director of prison ministry, but I don't pretend to be a pastor. I don't pretend to be a Bible expert. I talk about my broken faith journey. I talk about my struggles in relationship in general, not just with my God, but with my family. Like, that's self-reflection that I do on a regular basis. So that just jumped out at me when you were talking about humility, because how much in prison is that wrong crowd? You're just looking for something to latch onto. Like you want it, but you're not doing the reflecting. You're doing the searching, but your searching is all out here. The answers are all inside, and it's all in effort. It's all in relationship, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and for many of our guys who go to Celebrate Recovery or NA classes, AA classes, stuff like that, you hear the term self-inventory. Well, you have to self-reflect. You have to self-reflect to do that self-inventory. And it's a powerful method of accountability of self. Because if we're talking about keeping it real with yourself so you can be real with others, loving yourself so you can love others, being loyal to yourself so you can be loyal to others, you have to self-reflect, as Bo just talked about, and you have to do that inventory. There are some strengths and weaknesses there. Some of those things are good for you, some of those things are not. In order to really understand what to keep and what to throw away, you have to self-reflect and do the inventory. These are tools of leadership.
And that about wraps it up for this week. So thanks again for joining us. This week's episode was brought to you by Our Daily Bread Ministries, helping you experience the life-changing wisdom of the Bible every day. And don't forget about
Leadership Academy. Niggas on that front line trying to bring hope and change throughout the prison system. Y'all keep y'all faith in God and keep holding down the front line.
Dope, turn it up.
Let's get to it. We them leaders who be on that front line, trying to be the reason that we must survive. I know the pain and the drama on your mind. Every day in prison, all you do is time. But if we stick together, we can push the line. Mind over matter, we create the time. We can change the culture so we all can shine. We can give them hope when they wanna cry. We them leaders who be on that front line, trying to be the reason that we must survive. I know the pain and the drama on your mind. Every day in prison, all we do is time. But if we stick together, we can push the line. Mind over matter, we create the time. We can change the culture so we all can shine. We can give them hope when they wanna cry. Fell off the first mountain, now I'm on the second one. Leadership development, showed you how to stay on one. Even though we doing time, we give you the best of us. Hope it translate to every prison dirty, stand with us. Cause on that front line, it's representation. For us that's doing time, we need motivation. Man, them dark days at night make you frustrated. Visions of your kids crying, testing all your patience. Now you wanna go get high so you can escape it. If they really on your mind, then don't try to waste it. Need for you to really try, change your situation. Send them prayers to the sky, call it elevation. If we lift each other up together, we can face it. But emotional intelligence need education, and that leadership development need dedication. Then we reimagine prison so we all can make it. We them leaders who be on that front line, trying to be the reason that we must survive. I know the pain and the drama on your mind. Every day in prison, all we do is time. But if we stick together, we can push the line. Mind over matter, recreate the time. We can change the culture so we all can shine. We can give them hope when they wanna cry. We can give them hope when they wanna cry. Shout out to Boy Nabby over there and the whole team and say come on, man. For making change become something more than just a possibility. Sincerely yours, cuz.